Bookie Beatdown coming at you. Paul Shaughnessy, Cody Saftik, breaking down UFC Baku. Cody, as our geography specialist on this program, tell me 2 countries that border Azerbaijan.
Georgia. Definitely Georgia. There's a body of water separating it from Kazakhstan, so not Kazakhstan. Oh man, not Afghanistan. Definitely Georgia. Yeah, I guess I'm a terrible geography expert, Paul Shaughnessy.
It's Russia, Iran,
That one makes sense.
Armenia.
Iran, I was going to say.
Apparently, them and the Armenians,
Right,
they
yeah.
don't get along. But the rest of the neighbors, it seems to get along. It's like if you go from like the holy land of MMA fighting, Mahashkala, Dagestan, and you just go straight south down the Caspian Sea, you'll hit Baku eventually.
You'll hit Baku.
Who knows what the roads are like over there, but
on the other side, it would be Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan. Pakistan actually also borders Iran, if you can believe that. Like, I don't know why the Iranians are so physically strong at wrestling, and the Pakistanis
you're doing pretty good at this.
The fact that I couldn't get Russia, which at one time owned that land, that should have been the easy one, right? Yeah. What I did check out, because I was like, Azerbaijan, UFC's first time going to Azerbaijan, Baku. Beautiful place, beautiful scenery, great people, good fighters, largely good strikers, but as a whole, good fighters. How corrupt is Azerbaijan, Paul Shaughnessy? Let's be real here. So I did a little digging. And there's this thing, yeah, I know. There's this thing called the Corruption Perception Index, the CPI, by this Transparency International, publishes it every year. 180 countries, they rank them on least corrupt. Denmark, Finland, New Zealand, Luxembourg. Those are good countries. Most corrupt, Somalia, South Sudan, Venezuela, Ethiopia. 152 of 180 in terms of corruption, Azerbaijan. So apparently, like, the whole infrastructure is just rigged to steal money. There's a lot of sports fixing. There's a lot of people that have known to take dives. The government's got their hands in it. You can't get these contracts unless you pay these outrageous sums for permits. Apparently, it's just like a super fixed country like that. So now we're going there for the first time ever. And although they'll bring the same bum judges like Chris Lee and Sal
D'Amato, you don't think this guy's down to take rubbing their hands right now because they know someone's offering me a bribe.
Yeah, I know it's funny. It's like, and this has actually happened to me before, so maybe it's just my mind playing tricks on me. But there's certain things in my life that I remember like it was yesterday. Like, it's like a core memory in my life. And then apparently it never actually happened. Like, I'll talk to people and they'll be like, that never happened. And I'll look on the internet and I'll read old magazines. And it's like that event that I definitively remember never happened. So yeah, I had known this story about the same thing. It was like this boxer goes down to Kazakhstan to fight, but it's against an Azerbaijani opponent. And essentially, like, not the promoter, but like one of the promotional staff members comes into their hotel room, drops a bag of money on the bed, and says, if you win, like, if you don't lose, I'm going to die, and then your life is seriously in danger as well. So it was kind of like the mob doesn't have to go and get the judges. They don't have to directly approach the fighter. They can get anybody that's involved and just get that little nook in your ear. And I'm not saying this is fixed in the slightest bit. I'm just saying, keep in mind, there are 3 Azerbaijanis on the card. Those fights, I do expect to be close and competitive. There's also a number of other fights on the card that a little bit wishy-washy at best. So, like, are we going to get a fair shake? I don't know. Last thing, and then we can start actually talking about fights and who's going to win, is sometimes you go to these commissions, like Vegas now is all about damage. They don't care about control time. They're all about damage. If you were to go to, say, Oregon or Pennsylvania, they may only care about control time, not so much about damage. But because they have shows in these areas, you start to develop a read on what are they looking at. Over there, I have no idea. I'm assuming violence, but maybe it's control time. Maybe some guy can get 10 takedowns and do nothing with it, and they're scoring that. I don't know. It's going to be the same judges that you normally get, but it's a different atmosphere, and it's a different set of pressure, and Azerbaijan is a corrupt-ass country. So anyways, with all that said, let's talk about some fights and figure out who's going to win, and hopefully we're on the right side of the fix. You know, that's always good.
So what you're saying is Hamdi by split decision.
I'm saying something like that wouldn't shock me in the slightest bit.
I mean, it happened when they were in Saudi Arabia. I imagine it's going to be the same people as they brought over to Saudi Arabia, which are all of the Goombas that we can't stand back on UFC or USA soil as well. Sadly, Amado, Chris Lee,
Pogues beat
yada, yada,
Handy. I don't
yada.
like, and we have to talk about it again, even though I tell myself
30-27 and split
never,
28s
never
and
going to
then two
talk about it
28s.
ever again. But
29-28.
like, it's a weird world we live in. So you want violence because it's like, hey, take it out of the judge's hands. But when I personally look at a lot of these fights, they're closely contested and probably going to decision.
Yeah, a
So
bunch of them could.
full decision main card last week in Atlanta. And I'm not saying that's the case here, but look for a bunch more decisions. Therefore, controversial decisions. And I don't feel good about betting on controversial decisions. So we just got to navigate the mucky waters here and figure out who's safe and who ain't.
100%. All right, let's move over. We got the main event. We've got Jamahal Hill taking on Khalil Rountree. Rountree, a minus 134 favorite. The comeback on Hill, plus 114. Who you got here, buddy?
I got Jamahal Hill. I think Jamahal Hill goes out there and slaps him up. I think he makes this look good. It's a solid performance for him. And no doubt the narrative, and we're going to talk about it, the narrative here is that, yeah, Khalil Rountree is a puncher's chance guy. He's low volume. He does not have a grappling game. I don't think he's got deep cardio. I don't think he's got some massive grit or durability to him. He's got massive flaws across the board, but Duke can hit hard. And in Hill's case, whereas you wouldn't say this guy's chinny, Pereira knocks him out, which you give him a pass. And then Yuri knocks him out, which you also give him a pass. But now it's back-to-back knockout losses. First time he had been knocked out, then subsequently the second time he's been knocked out. And now that's what the narrative is. You've been knocked out in your last two fights. It's a losing streak. People are questioning your chin. They're questioning your durability. To me, the difference in those fights is, against Alex Pereira, he came in at UFC 300. It was a big payday. He wasn't completely healed from that Achilles injury. Took a little bit of time off, rusty. There's a groin strike. He gets knocked out. Shit happens, man. It's MMA. That's an elite striker that has good volume, that has good pace. His second fight with Yuri, he tries to swarm Yuri and just, use a superior volume. Beat this guy to the punch, use that range. And unfortunately, Yuri's a volume puncher of his own. So whenever you hit him with three, he's returning fire with three of his own. Khalil's not that guy. Now, Paul's got the page ahead of him, so he can show you, right? But when you click over on, say, Jamahal Hill, right? We'll start with Jamahal Hill. His strikes landed per minute is 7, just over 7, okay? And that's at a 53% accuracy. So he's throwing nearly 14 strikes per minute, slightly over half of which are landing. His striking defense, he's absorbing 4 strikes landed per minute, defending, just under half of those. Now click on Khalil Rountree. And numbers aren't everything, but keep in mind what Hill's numbers are. He's landing 7, he's absorbing 4, and he has a 53% striking defense. By comparison, Khalil Rountree's landing less than half of that. His striking accuracy is not less than half, but 38%. His strikes absorbed per minute is more than his strikes landed per minute. He's only going to win a fight if he catches you. His win over Justin Jacoby, no way he won that fight, man. Jacoby outworks him. It lands him 125 to 85. Should have won, but they give it to Khalil Rountree. And then that begs the real thing here with Khalil. Oh, shit. Anthony Smith just retired. He's no good anymore. Chris Daukaus is cut. Jacoby, I thought he lost. Carl Roberson's cut. Modestas is super average. Robbed Eon. Eric Anders is probably, at least he was ranked 15th in the division at one point. So, that one looks okay. Gokhan Saki was 1-1 in MMA. Paul Craig's no good. Daniel Jolly, obviously, no good. What I'm saying is all of his wins are super low level, and 5 of his 6 losses, Andrew Sanchez cut, Tyson Pedro cut, Mikey O just snapped a 3-fight losing streak by beating Cedric Dumas, Johnny Walker, oh man, Ion Kudalaba, Marcin Prachnio. This guy's a total gatekeeper. And because they had nobody to fight Alex Pereira, they said, hey, we just need somebody. This guy's a banger. He's got puncher's chance, Rocky Balboa story. Let's throw him in there against Pereira. First round, by the numbers, Pereira outlands him. But Khalil Rountree landed the bigger punches, and he kind of, I'd say hurt him, but it didn't wobble him, but caused him slip temporarily in that first. Looked good. I thought he won the first. Second round, he also, by the numbers, gets outworked by Pereira, but he had landed some of the bigger shots. I thought he was up 2-0 going into the third. The third, Pereira's like, okay, sweet, time to actually start fighting. Triples him up in the third round and just puts him away. The later the fight goes, Rountree's not a 5-round guy. He's got those 2 rounds to knock you out with something. And I just don't think he's going to catch
in the third round and had 3-round cardio at least there.
Okay, but Anthony Smith took that fight on less than a week's notice and still made it to the 3rd round with him. And anybody who remembers watching that fight, it was like a mercy kill. They were like, "Oh my god, just wave this thing off." But like that wasn't a good version of Smith, and that was an end of the line version of Smith. Still took him 3 rounds to get him out of there. So when I look at the proportions here as well, you've got a Khalil Rountree 6'1" with a 76-inch reach, right? Well, Jamahal Hill's 3 inches taller. He's got 3 inches longer of reach. They're both southpaws, so that takes away a lot of Rountree's weapons. And yeah, I mean, if you're Khalil Rountree, you have a 50-50 record in the UFC. You're already punching way above your weight. A loss here in a main event in Azerbaijan means absolutely nothing. I'm not saying he's not taking it seriously. He's just there to entertain. Whereas Hill, his back's up against the wall. Like, this is a career-defining moment for him. He wins. He stays in somewhat of relevant title contention. He loses, especially if he gets knocked out. It makes it 3 straight, all by knockout. It's over for him. So the injuries healed up. He lost to Pereira. He got healthy. He lost to Yuri. Yuri's an absolute human tornado that can go punch for punch with you. You land 7 per minute. I land 7 too. The Rountree's not that guy. Stylistically, I think it's a great matchup for Hill. Plus, he's the betting underdog. Yeah, I'm in.
Not for long. The market has been steaming pretty hard on Jamahal Hill. He's down to like -114. Or sorry, +114. +100 in some spots. I'm not gonna lie, Cody. I don't agree with you. I think the case that you made about Rountree fighting absolute bums is just like that's just light heavyweight in general. So like both of these guys kind of lose when they fought the higher level of competition. Glover was so old and dusty at that point. I will admit, if this fight goes 5 rounds, like Rountree doesn't have much of a chance. There's no way he's keeping up with the cardio pace and the volume that Jamahal Hill puts out there. But like those 2 knockdowns in the Prohashka fight, particularly the one in round 1, pretty concerning, man. Like, I was just like a little check left hook. Just like I think Jamahal Hill's chin may be all the way gone at this point.
Yeah, we're gonna
in
see.
His career. We are going to see.
Should we bet?
But it's good. It's good that we had this discussion. I haven't bet it yet, but like I feel like I was wondering why the number was steaming so much here. Yeah, Shui bet 100%. We will lock that in with you right now. But yeah, no, I watched the tape on him, and it's like I don't think he can really wrestle. I think he really doesn't deliver any sort of power or anything like that. And I think Rountree, if this gets into round 4, then yeah, Hill's going to 100% take over and the volume's going to add up, everything like that. Hill could knock him out. It's light heavyweight. Both of these guys have been knocked out over the course of their career. But like, I just see really bad signs from Jamahal Hill and his ability to take damage at this stage in his career. He always kind of comes in soft. And then on top of that, the last fight with Yuri came in with like these full out knee braces on. And it's just like, remember the little, you know, the old foot stomp to Modestus Bukauskas?
Yeah, man.
Well,
blow
that
out
could
the
be
knee.
coming. That could be coming.
Kyokushin karate move, and it'll blow your knee out. Peter Graham used to do it.
He'll be throwing them. Hope that
Yeah,
was
you're
where
not
knee pads
wrong.
to this fight.
Well, we made money on no knees Kamaru Usman last
That's
week,
fair.
so I'm hoping the knee narrative is going to get put to rest. But yeah, listen, I hear where you're coming from. And again, Rountree, he's got puncher's chance. Like he could just knock him out. So there's a little bit of disagreement in the main event, but I think we both agree it'll be a good fight for the live crowd.
If this fight gets extended, like Hill will 100% take over. Like I'd be very surprised. The most surprising result would be Rountree by decision over the course of 5 rounds. Like I would be very, very surprised by that. But I'm hoping to get the knock.
I'm hoping to get Rountree Pereira light, which you're right. Pereira's got way better durability than Hill, so maybe he doesn't make it that far. But I remember the Pereira Khalil Rountree fight. Live betting was just phenomenal because Pereira lost first 2 rounds. And all of a sudden he went from being a giant favorite to he never hit underdog status on the live market, but he went from being a giant 7-1 favorite to like plus or minus 135, minus 145. So yeah, I agree. If this thing gets to rounds 3, 4, and 5, you could live bet Hill. But if you're a Rountree guy, this thing ain't making it 3, 4, and 5 because Rountree's got 2 rounds to knock him out. Gets greasy after that. Rountree bettors hope it gets the under. Hill bettors hope it gets the over. But yeah, violence regardless of if it happens early or happens late. Betting it though could be a little bit dicey just because of the the problematic nature of the matchmaking.
100%. All right, we move on down. We've got Rafael Fiziev taking on Ignacio Bahamondes. Bahamondes is short favorite at minus 127. Fiziev, who I believe is from Kazakhstan by way of Azerbaijan, is a small underdog at plus 107. Who you got here?
This is one of those fights where I've got my boy Ignacio Bahamondes to win the fight, but because it's in Azerbaijan, and there's no doubt about it that Rafael Fiziev, who I thought he was from Kyrgyzstan, to be honest with you, but regardless of
Oh,
where he's from,
he is.
he is,
I'm
yeah, okay.
mixing up my stands. I apologize.
There's so many stands. And like when we talk about Ismail Naurdiev later, he's born in Chechnya, okay? He resided in Austria. In fact, his nickname was the Austrian Wonder Boy, and he's rocking Morocco for this fight. So who the hell knows, man? Who the hell knows? Yeah, for Fiziev's case, it's like if you were to say, well, who's the best Azerbaijani fighter in the UFC? Regardless of where he was born, because he's repping the flag, it's him. So you're going there, you're going to want him on the co-main event, and they've done just that. They've not given him an easy fight, but no doubt, I think that the live crowd is definitely going to be behind him. If there are weird judges involved, there are other weird payments involved, potentially they're going towards Fiziev. Who really knows? Who really knows? But here's my issue with Fiziev, right? You look back a few years ago, and this guy's just like operating in the matrix. He's slick. He's got nasty striking. His Muay Thai second to none. Spends a lot of time over at what was Tiger Muay Thai, is now Bang Tao in Thailand. And again, if you're looking at Rafael Fiziev from a Muay Thai standpoint, from an MMA striking standpoint, this guy's dynamite. I'm not saying he's gotten old, because he's not old, by age standards, but it just looks like the division keeps getting bigger and bigger, and he no longer looks like a lightweight. He's 5'8". He's got I think it's a 71-inch reach. To me, he looks like a featherweight. And I know there's been discussions about him moving to 145, but he's heavily muscled and he's getting a little bit older. I just don't think he wants to. But when you look at that first Justin Gaethje fight, the first, even before that, him versus Bobby Green, okay? First 2 rounds, it's like, damn, dude, this guy's striking so good. The third round, Bobby Green throws like 120 significant strikes, lands something like 60 of them, and just outworks him. Pretty well outworks him for the majority of the fight, but especially in the third round, he overwhelms him. His fight with Justin Gaethje, the first 2 rounds, Fiziev's on par. The first round in particular, he wins. The second round's much closer. The third round, he's not running on fumes, but Gaethje's too big, too much volume, beats him up in the third round. His fight with Gamrot, he was so worried about the takedown, he never really got going, and then he got hurt, so I don't put too much stock into that one.
No.
But then he comes in short notice for the rematch with Gaethje, and this time it's like he's trying to go tit for tat with him, but physically Gaethje's too imposing. Now when I look at Gaethje's 5'11", Mateusz Gamrot's 5'10", Rafael dos Anjos is 5'8", Brad Riddell's 5'7", Bobby Green's 5'10", Renato Moicano's 5'11", Mark Diakiese's 5'10". Alex White, who arguably took a round off of him, is 6 feet tall. And that's the tallest guy he's fought in the UFC to this point. I think he kind of struggles with those taller guys. Bobby Green fought a volume game from the outside. I think that's what Ignacio is going to do here. He's the biggest guy at 155 pounds. He's a massive, massive man. He's going to have a height advantage. He's got a reach advantage. Is it 79 inches? Yes, he's got an 8-inch reach advantage coming in. Sorry, it's 75. My bad.
Short arms for being 6'3".
All things considered. And he doesn't fight long. He doesn't keep you on the end of those shots. He maybe will for the first 2, and then he steps right in the pocket himself and tries to gun you with an elbow over the top or a knee to the body. He's super high volume. His takedown defense has been an issue at times, but he's correcting those mistakes. And Ludovic Klein is capable of sticking to a game plan that involves taking you down. I don't think Fiziev mixes in wrestling, at least not consistently over the course of 3. The best case for Ignacio losing would be the John Makdessi fight, where a superior technical striker, shorter or not, can just use his footwork to dance around this guy and beat him up. But that's 4 years ago. So Ignacio's young. He's getting better. He's figuring it out. He's got big power. And part of me just thinks Fiziev's maybe lost a step, tad small for the division. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. Motivation, don't really know where it's at. They're going to Azerbaijan, so they're calling you up. Well, you're going to answer, but are you 100%? Are you healthy? And this is not a, hey, let's excite the live crowd by having Fiziev come in and knock this guy's block out. Like, they gave him this Chilean bitch who's super durable, high volume. It's a difficult fight, no matter how you look at it. And so the last little thing that really made me lean in his favor is when you watch Fiziev, Muay Thai and in MMA, his best defense, because he's got 6 striking defense. Like if you look at it, it's hard to hit this guy, but he leans back. He's got this Sanchez lean back where guys will just miss. They'll swing and he'll miss. They'll throw a kick and he'll miss. Against a guy as big as Bahamondes, who's 3 inches taller than anybody else you fought in the UFC, 4 or 5 inches taller than the average guys that you've been fighting in the UFC. Leaning back like that's probably going to get you caught by something. So I think Bahamondes has a very close competitive first round. Maybe Fiziev wins the first round. Very close. The second round will also be very close. I need the judges to get Bahamondes one of those first 2 rounds. If I can have this thing 1-1 going into the third, I think Bahamondes takes over. But it's a tough fight because it's striker versus striker. Expect a car crash, and a greasy car crash in Azerbaijan where you're fighting an Azerbaijani hero. You might not get that nod if it goes to the scorecards. So I got a little bit of worry, but that worry aside, I just tell myself, well, it was in Las Vegas, what would you do? If it was in Atlanta last week, what would you do? If it was anywhere else, what would you do? Well, I've got Bahamondes, so that shouldn't change anything just because it's in Azerbaijan, and therefore I got to stick with Bahamondes. But am I super confident and going to roll a whole bunch on this? No, man, this is a violent, super entertaining fight that I could see going both ways. I just think more often than not, it's Bahamondes that ends up getting his hand raised.
Yeah, a lot to take in there. I mean, going back watching the Turner fight, that wasn't the great performance that like you kind of think about in like the back of your head. Like he kind of got muscled to the ground, kind of bullied. He tried to go for a takedown, got like bullied, and ended up on bottom. Got the submission. We were happy because we cashed Bahamondes tickets in that fight. But it was like I was watching it, earlier on today, and I was just like, this wasn't the great performance. And then Turner retired right afterwards, which is kind of sad because the way that fight played out, like
he's super
talented.
Got
caught in a submission. It's kind of weird that he retired. I think how Bahamondes wins this is like if you go and watch the Torres fight, Manuel Torres, sorry. Just like as Fiziev crashes the pocket trying to break range here, it's just like in that fight he has a beautiful like step back, little step back straight right that absolutely like folds him. He's gonna have to play with distance a little bit here, and yeah, the wrestling I think is a question mark for Bahamondes, but hometown crowd, banger strike. Like I don't think it would be out of the realm if this is in the Apex. There's like, there's like 47 people in the crowd. I don't think it's out. Like, Fiziev came out, got 2 takedowns against Justin Gaethje, which I think was like more of like a surprise last time out there. But I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility in front of this crowd. Maybe it's win more than anything. But yeah, that path that was set out by Ludovic Klein, like it's there.
Yeah.
And Fiziev is grappling with like Dagestani dudes in Thailand every single day. Like I'm sure he's probably not going to get caught in any sort of submissions. I just don't think he's going to shoot the takedown. So car crash fight, stand up, give me the bigger guy as well, but nothing I'm too confident in. And honestly, like I feel like as it gets to like more, we'll see where it ends. Like give me some plus money on Bahamondes, I'll consider a play, but at like minus 127, like just a straight up pass from a betting perspective. We're breaking down so much regional stuff every single week. I don't really need to force this fight. I definitely will enjoy watching it, but yeah, the pick is Bahamondes for me as well. We got Curtis Razor Blaydes taking on Rizvan Kuniev. Fight was supposed to take place, I believe, twice, and definitely a long time ago. Blade minus 260, Kuniev plus 220. I'll be really, really quick here. The best performance, I suppose, of Kuniev's career is what the win on PFL over
Henry Ferreira.
Problema Ferreira. It's like I was watching that fight earlier today, and it's just like he was struggling to like take him down. There was like a lot of standing cage control and shit, and it's just like if you can't take down Problema, what do you think is going to happen when you lock horns with Curtis Blaydes on the feet. Like, I don't think you're going to have a good time whatsoever. Obviously, Curtis Blaydes has been knocked out. We talk about his chin and everything like that over the course of his career. But, like, fair is fair. He's got knocked out by Tom Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich, Derek Lewis, and Francis Ngannou twice. The other one of them was like an eye injury.
Yeah.
These are the best power punchers of like the last 10 years in the heavyweight division. Chinny, maybe a little bit, but like, I think as a parlay piece, I think Blaydes is a very fair price at this point. I don't really understand the Rizvan love coming in on the market right now. Like, yeah, it was down at minus 300. It's been crawling back up. I don't really get it. I don't get it at all. And like the best performance of Rizvan's final, the last thing I'll say, the best performance of Rizvan's career was that Problema fight. He looked so much better shape than what you see in a lot of his other fights, particularly the fights after that. And why? Because he pissed hot for literally everything under the sun. So
there's lots of stuff in his system.
There was everything that ended in ROL was basically in his
Bolderone,
everything.
Desterone.
He had it all in him.
He had it all. Give me it all.
Yeah, I think Blaydes is a great spot here. Great parlay piece. Your thoughts?
Okay, so they're shitty heavyweight. Well, Blaydes not shitty heavyweight at all, but you know how we always say when they're middling heavyweights, you just don't want to pay too big of a price tag. And I got Blaydes, but it is minus 300 for two guys that are a little bit, bigger and could potentially land that knockout blow. What you're saying about Blaydes only losing to the most murderous of power punchers, you are absolutely correct. The only thing I don't love is that Francis Ngannou knocks him out. Who cares? If in 45 seconds. If Tom Aspinall knocks him out, body, I give you a pass there in 1 minute. Sergey Pavlovich knocked him out in 3 minutes. The Derek Lewis one's weird. Why is he not trying to take Lewis down? Like, why is he standing in front of him? And when he did take him down, Lewis just got right back up. Super worrisome. And then Lewis knocks him out in the second. At least he made it to the second round in that one. But yeah, like when he fights a good game plan, like he did against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, just grounded him the whole time. When he fights a good game plan, like he did against Almeida, just got taken down, 9 times in the first round, tired him out, and then put a beating on him. Blaydes has always been one of the better wrestlers of the division, and that carries him far. When you look at Kuniev, you want to like this guy. Oh, dude, he's from Dagestan, Russia. And it's like, Did he wrestle? No. Wushu Sanda background. It's like, oh, well, that's a disappointment. Okay, well, they brought him on the Contender Series. He fought Edivan Santos. He TKO'd him in the 3rd round. The UFC said, no thanks. Dana gives everybody a contract.
Especially if you get a finish.
He's a Russian heavyweight from Dagestan that just finished the guy. He gets no contract. He ends up on PFL where he wins. As Paul mentioned, he tests positive for 5 different types of steroids, takes a suspension. PFL doesn't say, don't worry about it, we'll bring you back next time around. They release him from his PFL deal. Contenders gives him a second go around against Hugo Cunha, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in the UFC because he won 2 fights on the Contender Series. I don't mind this guy, but yeah, when you watch a lot of regional tape on him, he's not super athletic. He's not even a big heavyweight. He'll probably come in at 265 now, but when he fought Renan Ferreira, he was 249. When you watch other fights in his career, he's about 240. Like all of a sudden now he's 265. And when you see him on the scales, it ain't a rip 265. He don't look good. He's 32, which is super young by heavyweight standards, but it's the age where it's like you're probably not going to be getting marginally better fight to fight. He'll be making improvements, but not enough to change his whole game. So does he have enough firepower to clip Blaydes? I think so, because it is heavyweight. And Blaydes is not only getting knocked out, but it's like he gets knocked out kind of fast sometimes. So could he knock him out? Sure. Being from Dagestan, could he stuff some of these takedowns? Yeah, in theory he can. But I think that there's levels to this game, and Blaydes has been in there with all of the best guys, and Kuniev is in for a rude awakening. So I agree with you. This is at minus 300. I can't really parlay it as high as I'd like to because it's a greasy heavyweight fight. Like, I understand that there's a lot of things that could go wrong. I just think more often than not, the Blaydes is going to be the victor at the end of the day. So wrestling, superior cardio, superior level of experience, and really cool. They're supposed to fight the last time in Vegas, and Blaydes flat out weighs in, and then after weigh-ins is like, I got the shits. I'm not fighting. I can appreciate that, dog. He didn't put himself in a position to lose. Most guys have been like, I need the money. I'm not 100%. I'll just do it anyways. He was like, nope, let's run this thing back when I am 100%. So, yeah, now he's got to go all the way to Azerbaijan. That's not great. But being that he's an experienced guy, he's traveled, he's fought in different places before, and I think he'll be prepared for it. So, yeah, Curtis Blaydes, unless they poison his food, something happens to him, I think he wins the fight.
All right, we got Myktybek Orolbai taking on Tofiq Musayev. Minus 175 for Orolbai, plus 150 for Musayev. Who you got?
Yeah, so like outside of Michael Page, these like Bellator guys that have been coming in have just like really not been good. And the thing with Tofiq Musayev is if you looked at this guy in 2019, 2020, dare I say 2021, always making the lists of guys that could hang in the UFC that are not currently in the UFC. He's a murderous power puncher. You'll see 22 pro wins, 18 of them are by knockout, 2 by submission. He's not looking to submit you. He's looking to knock you out. He's got 20 finishes in 22 pro victories. This guy can absolutely crack. His takedown defense really isn't that bad. To me, he's not a volume guy. He's more so he's waiting on those big punches. He's a tad bit reluctant at times. His kicks are okay, but usually it's one and done striking. And even though he could just hit you and knock you out senseless, he's prone to getting outworked. And I do think that you could mix in some wrestling and kind of take advantage of well. Now, where he's at his best is not Bellator. He's 1-1 in Bellator. And the loss that he has there is a really bad looking loss. Like not to a bad guy in Alexander Shabili, but the first round he does nothing. He stares at Shabili, doesn't throw any strikes. The second round he also stares at Shabili. He's down 2 rounds on the judges' scorecards on 2 of the cards. They both did nothing, don't get me wrong. It's just like he did absolutely nothing. And then in the third round, he takes a low blow, and then they look at the replay, and it's not a low blow. And so
broken ribs.
Yeah, it's just weird how this finishing sequence materialized, right? Now, here's a guy that's 7-1 in Ryzen. 1 loss for the title against Roberto de Sousa, where he got caught in a triangle choke. But the 7 wins, he's knocking out quality guys. Damian Brown, UFC veteran. Johnny Case, UFC veteran. Knocked both of them out. Beat Patricky Pitbull, Patricia's older brother. Beat Darren Cruikshank, who's got like 40 fight pro veteran. At his best, back in, again, 2019, 2020, so 2020 was COVID year, so he never fought. But 2021, like that time frame, it's like he's capable of knocking you out early. Nowadays, he's 35. He's not fought in almost 2 years, not quite 2 years, but a little over a year and a half, 18, 19 months. He's been inactive. He's 35. He's been injured. And it's hard to be going from fighting Koji Takada and Akiri Okada and Sydney Outlaw. It is difficult to be fighting those guys to just coming straight off the bench, signing with the UFC because PFL and Bellator released him from his deal. UFC is going to Azerbaijan. He's now become a free agent. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. He's 35 years old. He's got a really fun fight style, and he's legitimately from Azerbaijan, so they're just bringing him in as the local guy. And again, he definitely has a puncher's chance. And Myktybek Orolbai fights the worst ring IQ you've ever seen. This guy has zero game plan when he's going in there. He's prone to getting chin checked. He's been dropped in the last fight against Matus Rebecki. But goddamn, Paul, this dude just keeps getting up. He's like tough. The T800. Like he just is very strong, durable, huge for the weight class, even though by the numbers, he's like a inch taller than Musayev. Maybe he has a
came in at 159 last time. He definitely struggles to make the weight, but that could just be like
so big.
That could be a dieting issue. His head, he's just got a freaking melon on him. You know what I mean? That fight going to decision cost me so much money because like after round 1, Rebecki swells up Orolbai, like probably breaks his orbital, right? And like one of my books offers like, fight doesn't go to the decision, like live bets. And I was just like, that eye is not getting through 2 more rounds of this. That eye got through 2 more rounds of it. And like both guys taking massive damage. Like, my God, that cost me a fortune.
It did too, because I had Orolbai parlayed in a bunch of spots. He was a big favorite, and I like this guy. I remember the Elvis Brenner fight, the Euros Medic fight. Again, he's big, and you might be outworking him, but he'll shoot 15 takedowns on you, and he'll muscle you down on a bunch of them. He exerts a ton of energy, but his cardio is pretty good. His durability is pretty good. His striking it's not refined, but he's got a lot of natural power, so he'll just clunk you with an overhand right and then duck under it and get back to the hips. So it's a super high work rate type of fighter, and Matus Rebecki is a high work rate fighter as well. And so that's what ended up costing me. I smoked it. I didn't smoke him. I did nothing. The bet was looking good in that first round. We're looking good in the first. Similar to Cody Garbrandt versus Roundy Barcelos, you're looking good in the first. Second and the third round, it's like you just can't sustain that same pace. And although he had a bunch of good, bright moments in rounds 2 and 3, it's like, yeah, ultimately he was getting taken down a little bit. He was just walking into the same punch over and over. He's so hyper aggressive that he fights with his hands low, as Paul mentioned, huge old head on him, and he's walking straight lines, not using footwork, not moving laterally, not giving you different angles to think about. He just constantly puts pressure on you. So a high-level skilled striker could definitely either counterpunch him or just knock him out. And Musayev has enough gun power to maybe hurt him. But one, Orolbai's not shown that he's going to get knocked out. He's been knocked down. He's been hurt. But the dude looks like he's just got like very, very, very solid, deep durability. And then the other problem is Musayev is not I'm going to beat the crap out of you for a prolonged period of time. He's low volume, in my opinion. He might have a good first round, but again, the longer this thing goes, I think he gets outworked. The fact that he hasn't fought in almost 2 years, he's 35 years old. He's now making his debut probably under the biggest stage that he's fought to this point of his career. He's not signed to the UFC on his merit. He's signed to the UFC on their going to Azerbaijan, and he's a good-looking local guy that has had a storied career and has earned a spot in the UFC, in my opinion. Just at 35, they're not looking to sign this guy and have a deep run. And then the last little greasy tinfoil hat theory that I will leave you with on this one is the UFC realizes, okay, 35, even if he wins his first fight in the UFC, there's no building him. We're not going back to Azerbaijan next week. We might not go back for a few years after this. So you're signing him almost as a one and done. He'll get a few fights in the UFC, sure, but they're signing him exclusively, put him on the main card because you're in Azerbaijan. Mm-hmm. Now, because this guy won a Ryzen tournament, because he fought Sousa in Ryzen for the title, Bellator's contract, they were paying him over $100,000 a fight. The UFC didn't come in and offer him a standard 12 and 12 to come in. I guarantee you he's getting paid a large lump sum of money. So they're unwilling to pay a guy who's 35 and doesn't add a ton to their brand, doesn't add a ton to their viewership outside of this one standalone event. They're not paying this guy over 100 grand, which they are, to come in here and just beat a nobody. They're looking to build someone up. Orolbai's 27. The loss to Rebecki should make him better. Hopefully made him a little bit smarter. And this guy's going to click. He's going to click at some point. He'll be a contender. They just got to give him good-looking and entertaining wins, and I feel it's matched as such. So I think Orolbai wins, but it could be a violent, messy fight, and the money line isn't exactly, something that I love, but I just have to accept it.
Yeah, I guess it'll come down to a lot of the grappling. I'm more privy to say dog or pass in this fight, to be perfectly honest. Like going back, watching the Rebecki fight, it's just like that. He just takes so much damage. He doesn't really have any striking defense. No. A lot of it is going to come down to like whether he can get to the hips, dominate, and control, because he's just a brute when he's in there. And if it gets extended into third round, like we know he's going to keep coming forward. So I understand why you're on it. I haven't bet it. I don't really want to lay chalk on Orolbai, particularly if it does go to decision. We're in Azerbaijan. Mm-hmm. This could be one of those greasy decisions that goes against you, Cody. One guy gets a whole bunch of control time, but the cleaner, nicer strikes end up being Tofiq. Everyone thinks Orolbai wins, and they go, not so fast. We are the 152nd most corrupt country, according to Cody Safdie. Tofiq gets the decision. I bet you. That's actually a great question. What is like Tofiq by split? If we wanted to go real rabbit hole type of situation here.
I think if you took Fiziev by split, Tofiq by split, and Nazim Sadykhov by split, I think one of them's hitting.
Fair. Well, we might as well talk about the next one. We've got Nazim Sadykhov taking on Nikolas Motta. Minus 440 for Sadykhov, who is almost the biggest favorite on the card. Which, just second to Tajiro and Bekov. Plus 340 to come back on Motta. Quickly for me. My struggle with this fight is that it really laying minus 440. I think Sadykhov is a lot more clean, crisp, everything like that on the feet. I think he can maybe even mix in wrestling. He's working Sarah Longo. Probably going to have a good game plan, everything like that. I just struggled to get to back him in a fight like this. Minus 440. You watch like him versus Evan Elder. He's down 2018 in that fight, losing a lot of exchanges on the feet. And then it was like the cut over the eye that causes him to get the win in that fight. I think a lot cleaner, a lot more technical. Don't get me wrong. I'm just very hesitant to lay chalk on Nazim because I really don't think there's any. I don't think there's any sort of value. I don't think Motta's good. And my struggle here is like I think if Sadykhov leaned on the wrestling, then maybe he does cover his price tag, and it does look easy in hindsight. But are we going to really rely on Sadykhov, who really doesn't lean on that wrestling all that much, to come out here and fight the right game plan? Maybe it is to win's a win, everything like that. Longo, I imagine, that team is going to look at the tape and be like, that's how we win this fight. Sadykhov is the pick. I'm just not in a hurry to make him my lock of the week or anything like that. What you take?
Yeah, and I'd be interested in seeing if Longo's even with him, because even though he's a Longo guy, similar to Aljamain and Merab, they've all gone to Las Vegas, and he's been spending a ton of time in Vegas. So I'll double down exactly what you're saying. It's all of his wins, right? The win over Evan Elder, he's down 2 rounds. Evan Elder knocked him down and won the first 2 rounds. The cut in the third. His fight with Terrence McKinney took him down and controlled him for the entirety of the first, and then McKinney's got no gas tank. Mm-hmm. So once McKinney died, well, he got the win. His fight with Vyacheslav Borshev, he 10-8'd Borshev in the second round and then got beat up pretty good in the third. He lost the first and the third.
He did wrestle there.
He did wrestle. He got 4 takedowns on 5.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, I can get it. It's 4
3 minutes and 32 seconds of control time.
On 4 on 7. Yeah, and
he got him 3 of them in round 4. Or sorry, 3 of them in round 3. So he didn't really lean on it until he's like, oh, that's actually working. Let's do that.
Well, yeah, but it's the second round, he knocks him down. He takes him down. He outstruck him 39-29. He beat him. There's a lot of damage. If you watch that fight, it's like ref could have waved it off and nobody really would have complained. It's a clear 10-8. And then in the third round, it's you just 10-8'd this guy and he comes right back at. Now, you're right, 3 for 4 on takedowns. It's the first round he decided, oh, shit, I need to wrestle. He got less than a minute and a half out of control time from those 3 takedowns, and Borshev beats him up pretty good. It ends up as a draw. So what I'm saying is that even in the Ismail Bonfim fight, okay, the first round, he's getting outstruck handedly. He's getting doubled up 26-13. There's 10 seconds left in the round. There's not a lot of time in the round. He throws 3 kicks. First one's blocked. Second one's blocked. The third head kick smokes Bonfim in the eye. Causes a cut under the eye. Round ends. Bonfim goes to his corner and just flat out tells the referee and the doctor in his corner that he can't see, and they wave it off. So as far as I'm concerned, he's losing the Elder fight and he gets a cut stoppage. He's losing the McKinney fight. Classic McKinney, can't fight more than a round. Come on. The Borshev fight, he lost the third round. Was, I don't know, just that one was a weird one too. It was a draw. And then the Bonfim fight, he's getting doubled up. None of these fights have I really thought to myself, damn, this guy looks good. And he doesn't. His striking, he's got power. He'll come forward. He's aggressive. He's got a decent right hand on him. He can wrestle. A lot of it is strong kid, not super young, but he's got that youthfulness to him. He'll just charge forward. He'll get you to the ground. Training with Merab, training with Aljamain Sterling, training with that great cast of guys over in New York with Matt Serra and Ray Longo. No doubt he's got all the skills, but he's 31 years old. And at fight after fight, he's either getting outworked or he's, puzzled or he's not switching up his game plan. And he's somewhat getting bailed out by these odd circumstances. Now, this could be another one of those fights because Nikolas Motta, I don't think he's got a great chin. When you look at all of his losses, they're all inside the distance. His first 2 pro losses by submission. After that, he's getting knocked out. When you look at him getting knocked out on the regional scene, be it 1 minute and 3 seconds against Hale. It comes to the UFC, he gets knocked out by Jim Miller. Paul tried to tell me to. I don't even know what I was thinking. But Jim not only knocks him out, but Jim completely boxes him up in the first round and then knocks him out in the second round. Bad look, no chin. Manuel Torres comes in. It's a nasty knee, dude. Or
That's what
elbow.
Manuel Torres does to people.
Yeah, that's what he does to people, and it's hyper aggressive, and he plows him with one. But it's like, okay, maybe Motta can't take a punch. Trey Ogden dominates him. 3 easy takedowns, tons of control time. He never tapped on the submission, but
And then there
the
was
fight was done regardless, inside the distance or not. Just let the
bullshit.
clock roll out. Yeah, he looked awful there. He's a,
He
I
lost
think he's a
that fight,
6-1
obviously.
underdog against Tom Nolan, and he knocks Tom Nolan out. Mahashat, he comes back and he drops him, uses some good boxing. He's trained, obviously, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He spent time with Glover Teixeira over in Connecticut. He's currently over in Las Vegas, getting tons of good work in. His boxing's not bad. His knockouts are solid. Again, you look at Tom Nolan, you look at the 2 knockdowns on Mahashat, you look at back in the day, he knocked out Joe Selecki on the regional scene. He's got good power. His jiu-jitsu, brown belt level, not bad. He's like a serviceable, crafty enough fighter that if Sadykhov can go out there and just knock him out, like other people have, it's possible. Yeah, it's minus 440. Yeah, that's a great price. If it ends up being a technical back and forth, straight up fight, like Motta might be able to keep up the volume numbers, like maybe even have better volume than him. His technical boxing is a little bit crisper. His speed, not all that much different. I think he can keep this thing pretty close and competitive, but it's in Azerbaijan. So his chances of winning a decision are probably not great. He either needs to knock out Sadykhov or submit Sadykhov. And for all the faults that I was talking about Sadykhov, oh, he's down 2 rounds, or oh, McKinney won the first round, or oh, Bombfiend with style. This guy he's not going nowhere in all those fights. Basically, he just waits for you to make a mistake and he capitalizes. His durability is awesome. So if Motta's win condition is, I need to finish this guy, that ain't going to happen. Could he outwork him? Yes. But is that enough to get the decision in Azerbaijan? I don't think so. So I got Sadykhov. I don't want to put him all the way at the top, even though he's a minus 440. The stylistical matchup, I think, is close. The fight itself, I think, is going to be competitive. And that's why when I mentioned bet all 3 Azerbaijani guys individually by split, is that he might get outworked. He could knock him out as well. That's what I'm hoping for. Get this thing over with. But if he gets outworked and it's close and they say, well, he had a couple takedowns and he had a couple bigger moments, maybe he ends up winning a split decision. And the number on that, I would imagine,
plus 800.
Oh, is that it?
Fight ends in split is plus 800.
Oh, I would need more.
I mean, it's because Motta has
got
like
no durability.
no, but like plus 800 for those props is pretty wide.
You think?
Oh, 100%. I look at them every single week. Haven't had too much success, I wouldn't say, at betting them to be. That's not one I'm really going to touch because, like, I do think more often than not, like Sadykhov does knock his damn head off.
Yeah, that's fair. He does hit hard. I got to give him that.
Yeah, and Motta is I don't know. I think it's a bit of a car crash, and I know Sadykhov's chin has held up, but how sure can you really be?
Yeah, well, you can never be 100% sure, but I like what I see from Sadykhov. It's just I think he's a little low volume for what I'd like. He's a little bit because he's prone to getting outworked, which is why he continuously loses these rounds. Against good wrestlers, he's getting taken down. Against guys like Borishev, he's mixing up 4 takedowns, but keep in mind he goes 4 for 7 on takedowns against Borishev, right?
He's like the worst wrestler in the division.
And Borishev has 43% takedown defense and has rendered multiple 9 to Mike Davis, 11 to Mark Diakese. 4 doesn't seem all that high, no, does it? When you think about it in that way. But all jokes aside, it's like we're both on the same page. It's just we're both do not like this minus 400 price tag. Give it to us at minus 240. We're taking Sadykhov all day long. At 440. You're running into banana peel pricing at some. This guy's not a world beater. He's in his home country and expected to get a favorable rub. Or they'll be like, yeah, dude, this guy moved and went to New York. He's a traitor. Don't give him the rub. I don't know. I don't understand the politics going on over there. I think he wins. I don't think it's as easy as the line indicates.
If they fought 10 times, I think he probably wins like 7 or 8.
Sure, yeah.
Which is exactly what the line is, in terms of mathematical probabilities. So it's like there's just, in my opinion, not really any value on Sadykhov here. It could be 8, maybe it's 9, and if it's 9, then there's still meat on the bone for Sadykhov. But we know how these favorites will move on fight day. I don't think I'm going to have the balls to pull the trigger on Motta. I think he is absolutely ass. But
It didn't look bad his last two fights. He really did. The Nolan one,
no,
whatever, he caught him. Nolan's chinny. But his last fight against Mashad, he fought a complete fight. It
he
was like,
did.
this guy's not
Marshall
terrible.
can't wrestle. I mean, that's why I kind of let it off with it. It's just like that Ogden fight. I watched that earlier today, and obviously it was because he didn't actually tap and they overturned it. But it's just like that was one-way traffic, absolute wrestling clinic domination.
If Sadykhov does that, you're right.
Like,
Take him
it's
down.
such an easy fight. If he does that, he covers his price tag all day. I don't know if he's as good of a wrestler as Trey Ogden. He hasn't really shown us or the ability to do that, but he's young, getting better. That may be the plan here. And if it is the plan, then like it's going to be real easy. Sadykhov is the pick, but you're kind of hoping that he doesn't just go out there and slug it with Motta, because Motta knocked out Tom Nolan. Like, he's still dangerous on the feet. Whether you've been knocked out or not, it's like there's always a first time. All right, we got Muhammad Naimov taking on Bogdan Grad. Naimov is a minus 240 favorite to come back on Grad, plus 205. We got.
Yeah, I got Bogdan Grad, dude. I'll take the underdog shot on this guy. He's going to
Interesting.
fight for my dollar. He's going to give it everything he's got. And I love weaponized cardio. I love these guys that can just fight a 25 minutes, 35 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever you want to go. And Bogdan Grad is just completely bringing pressure to the table. His wrestling, the technique is excellent. He doesn't seem to get the takedown all that much, though. He actually seems to get reversed and end up on the bottom. But his timing and his speed and his ability to get to the hips or get to the leg and create scrambles is awesome. His striking, again, a lot of it is him coming forward and him just going shot for shot with you. But if you ain't got a lunchbox packed and you ain't ready to go hard 15 minutes, guy gonna break you down. When you watch his fight on the Contender Series, he is knocked out by Tom Nolan pretty quick. Tom Nolan's a big guy, hits pretty hard. The fight's over before it starts. I can't fault him too much for that. His fight with Michael Aswell, he got outstruck 155 to 102. He wins a split decision. But again, it's a high volume fight. Cardio's good. Gets 3 takedowns. Fights with pretty decent ring IQ. And just always constantly keeps coming forward. He's not the youngest guy going, but I mean, he's still in his late 20s. I think he's making improvements. I think he's really going to be able to wear guys down. If you've got a heavy punching power, if you've got similarly a very deep gas tank, you're going to be a problem for this guy. If you could be drowned and suffocated, getting taken into those deep waters, well, get ready to swim, man, because that's exactly where he's going to drag you out to. And I think that's what happens. His last time against Lucas Alexander, the first round is competitive. Lucas Alexander's having moments. Bogdan just keeps putting that pressure on him. Eventually, he's able to break him down, takes him out in the second round, looks fresh as a daisy. I like what I saw. Naimov, to me, is just an overrated guy. He's an overrated guy in that on the Contender Series, he lost to Colin Anglin, who took him down 3 times. It's a real bad look. Comes to the UFC. The Jamie Malarkey fight, he's losing, and then he catches him. The Nathaniel Wood fight, he cheated 3 times. He grabbed the cage. He grabbed his gloves. He low-blowed him. He still almost got finished in the 3rd round. I wasn't a good look. Eric Silva broke his own ankle 49 seconds into the round. And then Felipe Lima, you and I both like this kid. He came over from the European scene, Octagon MMA. Really talented kid, really well-rounded. And again, early he's competitive. At first round, Lima's all over him. Second round's competitive, but Lima wins. 3rd round, Lima puts him away. Naimov, to me, is, yes, he trains in Denver at altitude, and that's the best thing he could have done, because otherwise, he doesn't get a deep gas tank. He's a classic Tajikistan, so physically strong, can't really maintain that type of pace and pressure the longer things go. His last fight against Keenan Offley, I mean, Keenan Offley's winless in the UFC, Ultimate Fighter veteran, that's just really not all that good. It's a competitive fight, I mean, he ends up outstrucking him 32 to 31, but he's able to get the 2 takedowns and rack up some control time against Offley, who's just not really known, more of a generalist, not really good in any one area. Against Bogdan Grad, you want to land 31 strikes, you want to keep it low, not enough. He's constantly putting pressure, he's constantly throwing up high volume. You want to mix up your wrestling and take him down? Fine. He's going to be creating tons of scrambles. Not just going to take him down and hold him down. You're going to take him down, and then he's going to try to hit a switch. He's going to try to pop up to a hip. He's going to try to create space. Then he's going to shoot on you, and then you're going to reverse, and he's going to end up on his back, and then he's going to start the process all over again. I don't think Naimov's going to handle it. If it was in the U.S., Naimov might have a better chance, but they're flying him now from the US because, yeah, he's from Tajikistan. He's from the general area, not super far. He doesn't live there anymore. He lives in America. So now he's leaving there. He's flying all the way to the other end. He's eating new food. He's staying in a hotel room, and he's going to come out here against Bogdan Grad, who's I think is really going to fight a pressure style game plan. Now, Grad's got issues. I understand. This is not, the easiest fight going, but it's the line. And Bogdan Grad covers it more often than not just by outworking him, tiring him out. I also don't mind it from a betting standpoint, and that I could see myself losing this first round 100%. Second and the third round, he's going to turn it around. He's going to make this thing happen. And for dog money, I'll take a shot on Bogdan Grad.
Interesting. Yeah, this is like one of those stylistic matchups that I always really struggle with. Because it's like one of those ones that I don't really know what's going to happen when these two lock horns in the grappling. Like watching the tape on both of them, I can't really definitively say who is stronger in those exchanges. Like I did go back, I watched this Batista fight where he's taken down early, but then he grabs a guillotine, he's able to get the submission in that fight. But it's like if he doesn't get that submission, then what happens? He's on his back. Nolan fight, it was really, really short, but when he was on his back, he didn't seem to offer very much from that position. Like, I mean, he was rocked. That's how he kind of got down there in the first place. The volume, 100% volume, cardio, Cody with the overs and everything like that. I know how your mind works, and I understand getting to Bogdan Grad, but I'm kind of actually thinking Naimov gets a KO here. Plus 300 seems a little bit short. We'll see at the end of the week when other places open up. May get a little bit investment into that because I do question Bogdan Grad's durability. Moving on down, we've got Oban Elliott taking on Seokhyeon. I kind of stumbled over that one. That was a tough one to say. Oban Elliott minus 550 favorite. Come back on plus 400. Who you got?
I don't have a great read on the Seokhyeon guy. I mean, they call him the Korean Tyson, right? So it's like, okay, he can bang it out. And it's like, yeah, both of his career losses, Sasha Politnikov, UFC veteran, and Han-Seul Kim, they both knocked him out. Like, they dispatched him pretty effortlessly. One in the first round. Politnikov took him out early in the second round. I don't think his striking defense all that good. I don't think his durability is all that good. He's 31 years old, making his UFC debut, so not exactly a super touted prospect. And then again, he's Korean Tyson, and they call him KO Kim. And then on the contender series against Igor Cavalcanti, he don't want to stand with him. He's trying to wrestle the entire time. And he did get 2 takedowns. He did rack up a little bit of control time, but otherwise, he just didn't really seem like the type of guy that I would have a ton of interest in. Not a bad fighter. Love Korean fighters for their physicality, their athleticism. He brings a couple good things to the table. He can strike. He can land a couple good shots, but he's been fighting at a relatively low level of competition in comparison to what he's drawing here. And Oban Elliott is a real tough fight. Oban Elliott, initially, you could expose him a little bit because he doesn't have a ton of finishing abilities. He's a decision guy, and you can take him down. Because of those reasons, it's like, all right, no problem. He's not doesn't really pose that big problem, that threat of knocking you out or submitting you. You just got to mix in those takedowns on him. In his last number of fights, though, what you've seen, just got to bring up the stats here, from Oban Elliott against Val Woodburn, right? Val knocked him down, and Val took him down twice on 2 attempts. It's not a good look. The very next fight, I attempted to fade him with Preston Parsons. Preston Parsons, a far superior wrestler than Val Woodburn, goes 1 for 9. He couldn't take down Elliott at all. Basel Hafez, terrible ring IQ, doesn't even shoot any takedowns in that fight. But all the same, you see Elliott is making improvements fight to fight. And that's what a good prospect is supposed to do. Takedown defense looks a little bit suspect. The very next fight, he shored up those holes. He's working on it in the gym. Whereas I say he's a decision guy, he has like 6 or 7 straight fights go to decision. His last time against Basel Hafez, he swarms him in that third round, puts him away. There's things that I like out of Oban Elliott progression-wise. I like that now he's, able to keep the fight standing. He's able to use superior volume. How does he match up with Ko? I think that he's able to outwork him. I think that he's able to maybe mix in some takedowns if he wants. If not, Kim tries to take him down like he did against Cavalcanti, but Elliott's actually prepared to thwart off those takedown attempts, keep the fight upright. Do I love this money line? No, it seems a little bit wide for Oban Elliott, but I think he's one of those guys that likely goes out and wins a lot more often than not. Keep the fight standing, better striker, better volume, better grappling, more experience. younger prospect. Oban Elliott should win this thing. So I don't want to play too much into him because he has 2 career losses and both of them are by knockout. So it's not completely out of the realm of possibility that he gets chin checked by this guy who's known as a power puncher. It's not impossible. The money line doesn't reflect the dangers that are potentially associated with this fight. But more often than not, Oban Elliott is going to win this thing. And so for that reason, he remains the pick for me.
Yeah. I struggled to like back Oban Elliott past like. Yeah, I mean, at this price, I kind of struggled to get to him because of all the things that you said. Obviously, knocked out by Matters Fleminus. I think he's improved and adapted quite a bit since then. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I watched the Val Woodburn knockdown early on.
Yeah,
This
big
guy's
lackluster
a
note.
slick moving southpaw striker. He came through as like a plus 400 underdog on Contenders Series there, like against some. I mean, seemed pretty. Looking through the record of that Brazilian Igor Cavalcante, seemed pretty fugazi though. It's just like he wasn't in LFA Brazil, he wasn't in Jungle Fight, he was in like some promotion that I'd never heard of before. So it's just like we've been doing enough regional stuff that it's just like, well, what does your 9-0 record really mean at this point in time? Really not that much, because we've seen certain guys get on to like those LFA Brazil shows with like 8-0 records. And like, this guy's awful, or like 4-0 record. And you're just like, this guy's an absolute bum. Like, who's he even beating? They're like, oh, he's beating like 347-year-olds. So like that type of stuff happens all the time. But that's all to say that's like, I liked his mobility. I think it's a big step up from like what I've seen him on tape facing and taking on someone like Elliott. And grappling, I think Oban should be able to mix it in. The only question I have is that durability of Oban Elliott and getting to him at minus 550, because you know how these markets move. Like, he's gonna end up being like, it's just been one-way traffic on this line, right? By the time people watch this on Saturday, he's probably like minus 700, minus 800. It's
Yeah,
just
you're
like,
right.
do you really want to add it at that point? Like, I don't think there's any value at that point. I don't really think there's any value at this point. I'm going to back Co. I'll wait until weigh-ins, but at the current price, at the time of this recording, it's Dogger Pass for me. JunYong Park taking on Ismail. Naurdiev. Park, a minus 185 favorite to come back on Naurdiev, plus 160. I think Park rolls here. I'm not impressed with Naurdiev's comeback fight there. I will say that.
It didn't age well, that's for sure.
Well, one, Bruno Silva looked a hell of a lot worse than a bunch of the other matchups that he has been in. But on top of that, it's just like, not even just that fight, but it's just like, you go back to like Naurdiev's fight against Marcin Bandel, which is not that long ago. Brave CF 63. Just like a horrible look getting to the mat, getting submitted, minute and 30 seconds. Like, Bandel's pretty long in the tooth at this point. Gets absolutely his head knocked off by Kutsi. I mean, that's why, and then this Tahar Hadbi guy's got like gray hairs, like really like old, weathered, everything like that. So yeah, he came in against Bruno Silva, was able to mix in grappling. The stats of that matchup don't look that impressive in hindsight. Like 60, like he won very cleanly, very clearly. But like we talked about with Bruno Silva, it's just like he didn't really even want to be in there anymore. This guy's like kind of panicked and had like all these other issues that like we don't have to necessarily go into. Iron Turtle, for what he does lack, like I think he's got a grappling edge, a significant grappling edge here. He's durable as durable can be. And Muniz took him down 11 times, loses that. That was an ugly fight. But in a lot of these other fights, it's like if he's able to get takedowns, like I like Park by sub. Probably by rear naked choke, because that's his jam. Duraev, Talulin, Joseph Holmes, soon to be. Ismail Naurdiev. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I got Park as well. I feel a little bit nervous just because the part of the world that it's in, it's like I just want a clear handshake, straight, shoot this thing straight down the middle. And with Park, of his 11 fights in the UFC, 3 of them have been by split decision. He gets controlled in a bunch of fights that he needs to rely on the judges getting it right. If you look at him versus Eric Anders, I bet him against Eric Anders. I thought he won the fight. He outlanded Anders. He got controlled for the vast majority of the fight. And people were like, very upset online. Apparently, I'm a bum for picking Park, and it was a robbery. Again, I truly believe Park won the fight. He had landed him. Anders is just trying to hold on, but holding on is actually a viable strategy against Park because he just allows it to happen. His fight with Albert Drive should have done more of it, but just got the one. It's the Muniz fight that Paul mentioned. He got taken down 11 times on 14 attempts. He got held for 9 minutes and 54 seconds of the fight. He gives up easy takedowns. His get-up game's not bad. He constantly makes you work, but it's like an outside trip or just very easy mat returns. That to me is a little bit problematic because when you look at Naurdiev, not that he was an Austrian wonder boy. He was a striker. His original run in the UFC, this guy is a striker. He's not a good wrestler, cannot grapple. And then over time, it's like he has added it to his game a little bit. I didn't think he looked great against Bruno Silva, but he shot 13 takedown attempts and got 4 of them, and that helped him win. That fight was also relatively short notice. Him returning to the UFC. Kid's got 35 pro fights. This is his second run in the UFC. He's only 28 years old. So he's still getting better. When you look at all these losses, the dude lost a chance Ren counter in the UFC. Like, unbelievable, at 170 pounds. Paul mentioned the Bandel fight. It's a catchweight of 175. Go watch this Jera. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Jara El Swaini, PFL
El
washout.
Salawi.
Yeah, dude, the leg kick. First round, Naurdiev looks like $1,000,000. He's like athletic, he's fast. The second round, it's like 2 leg kicks, and all of a sudden he can't walk anymore. It's a real bad look. Those are all at catchweights of 175. Him versus Bruno is only like the second or third time he fought at middleweight. He happened to get a guy that mentally was checked out and didn't want to be there. Park's got a lot of faults to him, but one thing about the Iron Turtle is he wants to be there. He's super high volume. He's a go-getter. You take him down, he gets right back up. You take him down again, he gets right back up. His cardio is usually checked out. His durability is usually checked out. People will say he got chin checked by RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez. He's inches away from chin checking RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez. But if you choose to fight like that, things are going to happen. And unfortunately, he ended up on the wrong side of it. But all the same, he's a big time go getter. It's just I don't know if this becomes another classic. Park outlands his opponents, just like Park outlanded. He outlanded Brad Tavares 99-65. He won a split. He outstruck Muniz 27-14. He won a split. Eric Anders, he outstruck Eric Anders 105-65. Won a split, and I had to endure people screaming robbery online for a week. So there's a subjective nature to his style, and I'm not entirely sure that Naurdiev doesn't get beat up and get outworked, but shoots a few takedowns and gets a few positional moments and maybe wins that way. Last thing being, it's like Parks knows where somebody's hid the bodies because the UFC loves him in that his wins, Dennis Tulin, Joseph Holmes, Tefon Injikwi, John Phillips, they've matched him super soft. So it looks probably better than it is, but I like the guy that's constantly going for it, is a real middleweight, has fought at this level a lot more consistently than Naurdiev, that's going to shoot a half a dozen or a dozen takedown attempts, hope to get half of them, and hope that the judges score that. I'm not entirely sure that's the best method of victory, so I'm going to agree with you. I think Park wins. But could there be some funny business involved? Could be a contentious decision. If you can get a good split decision prop on this one, just because Park tends to be in a lot of splits, maybe it's worth a look. Yeah, because I got to make a straight up pick as well. Going to be Park.
Yeah, there's a lot of split decision situations this week, but it's like you can't trust me. As the guy who actually bets these things, they're they're probably always pretty short, to be perfectly honest. Like I don't know if it's actually a great long-term solution for betting. Like I've tried to lay off of them a bunch because they just don't happen as much as you think they do. It feels like it's sometimes in the moment, but they don't really add up. But it's kind of like a sick a sickness that I've got.
I just don't think
It
the
does feel
prices
good when
being
you hit them.
offered are good enough. And we
No,
talked
they're pretty
about one
short.
earlier. It's plus 800, and I'm readily saying that's not good enough for me. And you're saying that's as good as you're going to get in this type
About
of
yeah,
market.
for fight ends and split, yeah.
Yeah. For me, there's 12 fights on the card, okay?
Yeah.
And one of them is going to be a split. There could be two,
Yeah.
but one of them for sure is going to be a split. So you got to give me 10
Trying
to
to pick
1 or
yeah,
11 to
you're
1 or
never gonna
12
get
to,
that.
and you're never going to get that.
You get
So
that
it's
in like a
it's
Francis
losers.
Ngannou fight versus somebody who's chinny or something like that. They never give you that. So
Yeah, Francis versus Anthony Hamilton. Sure, I'll give you 20 to 1 on split decision,
sure.
bud.
Yeah.
Give me the donation. Yeah, no, okay. I hear what you're saying. If those markets improve, it's same thing if you can find some books will give you like this fight will end by guillotine choke or by arm triangle choke. It's like sick. That's awesome. Give me a skyrocket high price for it because you know how many things could go wrong or how many things could happen that don't lead you to getting your triangle choke or
Just
your
get
Darce, just
when it gets into like Darce Anaconda and like some of those other chokes in that position too, it's just like now you're just kind of relying on like the stat keeper calling it the correct submission as well. Like that could be a problem as well that you would run into.
well, yeah, it's just like when books and they stopped doing this, which is the greatest, but there was a small period of time where they were trying to screw people on, hey man, you bet this guy to win by knockout, and it was ruled a TKO. But like the difference between a knockout and a TKO is Mark Smith reffing it or Herb Dean reffing it. So what? The guy waved it off before he went all the way out. It's the same thing. And
Mhm.
now they grade it as such. But when you get to the language like that, you're very specific on something. Some bets you can bet a majority or a split, or you can bet go to and bet the one that's a split slash majority because it's the same price and it covers you in the in the scenario that it ends up being a majority and not necessarily a split. So yeah, just again look at the language with your book whenever you bet anything. Make sure you know what you're clicking on.
Yeah. And yeah, I will say again, it's just like as the week goes on, you see some weigh-ins, everything like that. It's like a lot of my convictions on certain sides and stuff, like they get a little bit better, numbers move, everything like that. So like, yeah, sometimes like at this point in the week, it's just like I'm not 100% sold in. I want to see certain, I want to see the guys. I love seeing fighters stand next to each other. Stare downs, weigh-ins is one thing, but it's like I actually like stare downs more than anything. I find that's the most valuable for it was like last week with Lusa. We talked about it on the show. It's like, I like Lusa. And then what ends up, how do you see that stare down? And the guy's towering over him like 6 inches, just like as big of a frame. And you're like, maybe I don't like Lusa nearly as much as I thought I did. Anyway,
It's still almost one.
we do
So,
as we do a prop show on Friday,
yeah.
right? On the Patreon side of stuff. So there's usually some good tidbits dropped in there. Moving on down, we've got Daria Zhelezniakova taking on Marissa Mullins, formerly Melissa Dixon. It's the rematch. Absolutely nobody on planet Earth asked for, Cody. Um, Going back watching that previous fight between the two of them, it's interesting. Like Mullins gets to the mat, gets a first round finish. But it's like if you look at her face at the end of that round, it wasn't all that pretty. Like she had to definitely work to get into that position. Zhelezniakova just doesn't really do it for me though. Um, you know, Against AFP, she loses the battle on the fence, gets mounted, regains guard, taps from an arm triangle from like the wrong side. Um, this girl's grappling can definitely be exploited. Mullins has already been in there with her. Mullins was bleeding. Her face was a little bit busted up, but at the end of the day, she still got the first round finish. I don't know why they really booked this fight. Again, to be perfectly honest, Mullins is kind of all over the place because, like we saw her. They. I'm thinking of something else. Either way, um, Mullins is the pick. Mullins by sub was of an interest, but probably a little bit too short for my liking, to be perfectly honest. But she already proved that she could grapple this girl I'm just kind of confused why they're even rebooking it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, so the first time that they fought, and Paul just mentioned this, is that like Mullins is getting slapped up early in the fight and standing, and then when she gets the fight to the ground, then she just takes over easy money. Then she debuts against Irina Alekseeva, and Irina Alekseeva sits her down, knocks her down. She ends up winning a decision, but she got hurt early in that fight. Then she fights Nora Cornoli, which two things happen. One, she misses weight at 135 pounds, comes in at 137. And then Cornoli hurts her with a knee to the body that was soft, dude. It was soft. And she completely just turned around and was like, ouch. And that was it. Took a knee and quit. So, like, knee to the body. I'm sure it hurts. And people at home be like, hey, man, that's not fair. It's not you getting knee in the body. Just, tell me the last time someone got knee to the body as a finish. Yeah, it's a setup. I needed the body 50 times and then a big old elbow over the top and then maybe a kick to the face. But yeah, just like a quick little knee to the body like that, it's MMA. You're going to be eating 50 of those all night long. She just seems soft. So that's her getting beat up by Daria the first time on the regional scene, but then she ends up winning. She got dropped by Irina Alekseeva. She gets dropped by Nora Cornoli. Then her last fight against Claudia Saigula. Claudia's really, really bad. But important to note that Mullins missed weight for that fight as well, coming in at 138 pounds for a 135 contest. This
That
fight's
was the other fight
also
I was
at
trying to bring up.
135. This is a bantamweight fight, but she's effectively missed weight her last two fights at bantamweight. She's 33 years old. She has awful durability. None of that would scream, let's put minus 240 on her. Like, I think she wins. I honestly do, because she does have a good gas tank. And I think that if the fight does end up on the ground, she's someone that can start to put some pace on you, decent transitions, obviously very big for the weight class. And that wears on you if you're forced to carry that weight for 10, 15 minutes. So Mullins is one of these, she's getting hurt early in almost all these fights. But if you do not put her away, it becomes a problem for you. And then for Daria, I mean, that's what we know about her, is that she's a good striker, but she struggles on the ground. The first time she fought Mullins, that's exactly what happened. Winning the striking exchanges, Market reddens up her face, gets taken down, gets beat up. Her debut against Montserrat Rendon, she wins, but she gave up 3 takedowns on 6 attempts and gave up over 5 minutes of control time to Montserrat Rendon. So then the last fight against Eileen Perez gets 2 easy takedowns, out grapples her, and submits her. Eileen Perez is a decision machine. She ain't putting away nobody. So it just shows you that that gap in her ground game is still very much there. And I think Mullins will probably try to exploit it the same way she did last time. But it's women's MMA. It's a 33-year-old Mullins. She's missed weight her last 2 times. So wait until weigh-ins and see what she even looks like, or she makes the weight. And beyond that, you got 240 on a girl that could literally go down at any time because she just doesn't really have a great chin. Women's MMA, there's not a whole lot of power punchers, but there's a lot of strikes that are being thrown. So someone like Mullins, who is, I don't have great durability, you're going to get hit unless you can get this thing to the ground. So she used to be Melissa Dixon, I'm pretty sure. It's Mullins now. It is what it is, whatever. I need her to get this thing to the ground as quick as possible. And beyond that, get it to the second and get it to the third. That's where she'll take over. That's where she'll win. I'm picking her, but I don't love it, man. I can see this thing blowing up in my face rather quickly.
Moving on down, we've got Irina Alekseeva taking on Claudia Saigula, minus 275 for Alekseeva. Saigula can be half plus 235. Yeah, Saigula, you mentioned it. I was actually trying to get to that one. I got a lot going on here. Switching the show, looking at my notes, trying to scroll through on 2 different computers.
Oh, good.
That's why I was just like, Mullins is all over the place here, because it's just like you kind of tape some Mullins stuff and you're like, oh, I checked off this box and in that box, everything like that, and Alekseeva as well, right? Yeah. So yeah, you tape Mullins and you're like, oh, I already have done a bunch of stuff for this next fight here, but
Yeah.
I mean, Segula's a cutie, but that's kind of where it ends. I know she's training in like in Florida at ATT, but I just don't. I want her tape, Cody, and I'm not quite sure what she's good at. You know me, I'm always looking for an opportunity for a CF dot model. But like Russian Ronda should be bigger, stronger, probably has better submission grappling skills, hits harder. Like how does Segula win this fight? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. Saigula is Polish, so she's good looking, but she's also probably insane. I've seen a lot of this. KSW has a pile of them. There was one that also fought. They're both good looking. One of the regional shows, Aries, maybe we watched one this weekend. Anyways, they're good looking gals. What she brings to the table beyond potentially marketable or don't mind seeing her, I don't really know. I just think
She's got
that
like 60,000 followers on Instagram. So I had to, for research
it
purposes, I
certainly
had to
helps.
look at these things.
Yeah, that's you know what that is deep diving into it, and I can appreciate that, Paul. You can see when she's on the regional scene in Poland is that it's all about let's build her up. You know, her last 3 wins are over. It's a custom rules fight. Yulia Kuzmenko 6-9, and Anna Lokbatsi, who was 1-0 at the time and actually lost that fight and then never fought ever again. So you want to book her against other girls that are inexperienced and young, and then yeah, she can rack up some wins. And eventually the UFC does come calling. They should have put her on the Contender Series to get exposed there, but instead they saw fit throwing in there against Mullins, and she does, extremely poorly. What could she bring to the table? Well, she's got decent enough cardio, I think, and her striking might. Yeah, I don't know. I think Alexieva's probably got her beat in most areas when you really do think about it. Alexieva's got more power. She's bigger. She's got more experience. She's got a better ground game. She likely wins this, but if you're looking at the CF dot model, why not just spam the random underdog on two lowly regarded, inexperienced girls?
Let's wait until
Irina
later in the week
Alexieva.
if you're going to spam it.
Yeah,
Because
if
I
you're,
think this number will grow.
I think you wait on it because Alexieva is going to continue to take action. But I look at Alexieva being the Russian Ronda, right? And the Russian Ronda gives up. Her fight with actually was a nice knee bar setup against her, and then against Melissa Mullins, she dropped her. She got the takedown, and then unfortunately just couldn't really do much with it beyond that. I think that once she starts to get a little more comfortable in there, gets a little more ring time, she should be able to win this fight however she wants. How I think she wins it is with the takedown. Saigula's got inexperienced ground game. Stephanie Egger's a BJJ black belt. She's a judo black belt. She's got good submission game. She hits her with that knee bar, and it's a nice setup to it. Go out there and make something similarly happen. Mullins is big. Mullins is strong. Mullins got a deep gas tank. She poses problems against Saigula. Saigula doesn't have that type of physical strength or that technique or that experience. So probably Alexieva getting the job done. But to be honest with you, I don't have the greatest level of confidence in this fight either way. Could see it being a awful fight either way. And similar to spots where it's Sean and O'Bannon versus Puya Tomar, right? This is easy money. What's not easy about it? You take Shauna O'Bannon. What a greasy ass fight, man. And that happens all of the time. So, Ryan Dos Santos fights and all of them. There's not much happening. There's a one big moment. Oh, it's close. Oh, it's competitive. Oh, this girl's landing a little bit more. Oh, there's just one big head kick. There's one big takedown. That ends up just being the one big moment. Whereas men's MMA, there's a lot of this guy got dropped and then he got back up and then he picked this dude up and then he slammed him and then there was a submission attempt. There's tons of moments. Women's MMA, it's a lot of sparring, kickboxing, and then one big land will catch the judge's eyes and win that round. So I like it. I'm a fan of it. I'm just saying it's hard to bet. And so this one's one that seems like it's a Alexieva walk in the park, but in hindsight or in the realization is that it's probably way more competitive than it looks. And you shouldn't get too heavily invested in it.
All right. We got Tagir Ulanbekov taking on Azat Maxim. Tagir minus 450 favorite. The comeback on Maxim plus 350. I'll be really quick here. Really quick, Cody. If you're getting taken down twice by Charles Johnson, you're going to be in for a bad time. Maxim's a better, cleaner, more technical striker on the feet. And Tagir is a guy that I've actually faded in a whole bunch of spots. I did cash when he lost to Tim Elliott. I faded him against Carpenter, and Carpenter had some moments in there, so I didn't kill myself in that type of situation whatsoever. But yeah, that that performance for Azat Maxim against Charles Johnson, getting taken down at the end of round 3, and another takedown earlier on in the fight. It's if you're not stuffing takedowns from Charles Johnson, good luck. How are you gonna? And we've talked about about Tagir over the years. We kind of think he's one of the worst guys from Team Habib. He's got 33, I believe at this point, 34-year-old flyweight. Like, I don't think he's some sort of elite guy, but he can do one thing, maybe not as good as all of his peers, but he can wrestle. It's like, if you're not stuffing takedowns from Charles Johnson 100%, you're in for a long night. Tajir is the pick for me. What about you?
Yeah, same thing. Like I thought Tajir, he's been battling injuries, he's been battling illness. He took all of 2024 off, and then, maybe thinking, is he starting to get a little bit old by flyweight standards? 33, turning 34 in a few months. I mean, that's old by flyweight standards. So maybe that end of the road starting to get there. But yeah, no, he proved me wrong against Clayton Carpenter, who I also decided to take an underdog stab at. Tagir's wrestling is about as good as it's going to get. Of course, the stories of him and Khabib in the mountains. He's been training with Khabib Nurmagomedov and Khabib's late father and Islam Makhachev. You've been training those guys since he was like 8 years old, doing these camps in the mountains with them as a full, combat sambo and wrestling team. He really is, strong wrestling. He also got some decent power. You look at that Cody Durden fight. He lands a couple beautiful shots, drops Cody Durden, and then eventually grabs the submission. Him versus Nate Maness, another great guillotine choke. He's got good submissions. He's got solid power for flyweight division. He's got great scrambles. There is a part of me that wonders that he's cutting a lot of weight, that sometimes if you can stretch him into deep waters. Bruno Silva gave him one hell of a go because he got him deep. Tim Elliott ended up winning the fight because Ulanbekov landed a career-high 90 significant strikes, but that just exhausted him. He wore himself out. Now he's fighting smart. He doesn't throw too many punches. That fight with Carpenter, it's like Carpenter's getting some momentum going. Oh, Carpenter's getting some momentum going. Beautiful right hand by Tagir into a takedown. He just knows how to stop the momentum. The other thing is that the round doesn't start, you touch gloves, you throw two and shoot a takedown. He baits you. He waits. He strikes for the first 3 minutes. He keeps it relatively close, although he's landed some good shots. Then he takes you down and he seals the round. So I can appreciate what he's doing on a perspective of how to win a fight. And yeah, I agree with you. I think his wrestling is more than enough to take down Maxim. If this fight stays standing, he's a better striker than Maxim. He's got better power than Maxim. He stands 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. Is identical to Maxim, right? So there's not like some big size advantage on either side. But when I look at Maxim's fight against Tyson Nam in his debut, how did he win that fight? He gets 2 takedowns, yet he's 2 for 11. And of those 11 takedown attempts and the 2 that he got 25 seconds of control time. And yet he got outstruck 81-46. He got stuffed. All his takedowns got stuffed by Nam, and he got outstruck. He wins a split decision, but I don't think he looked good. And then Paul mentioned the Charles Johnson fight. Charles Johnson took him down 2 times, and then furthermore also doubled him up in
3 sub attempts as well.
Yeah, and he doubles him up. Both guys have essentially doubled him up in the striking numbers, and both guys have had success grappling with him. Tagir represents a better wrestler and grappler than both Johnson and Tyson Nam, and his volume is, you're putting up 46 and 38 respectively. Like Tagir's putting up 60, 70 likely. His high is 90, but let's be real. He's more of a 50, 60, 70 kind of guy, which is enough to beat Maxim. So better volume, better wrestling, better level of experience. He is 3 or 4 years younger, but that it's not like you're 25 taking on a guy that's 35, or even that's not that big. It's not like you're 40 years old taking on a guy that's 20 years old. Here's a funny one for you. That Korean guy, Ko, right? Ko, this is 3 fights back. 3 fights back. He fights Ryuta Sakurai. Ryuta Sakurai was 51 years old. Ko was 29. Ko took him to the second round. That's why you don't bet on that guy. That's why Oban Elliott will be a minus 700. But stuff like that being younger certainly matters. On a spot like this, I don't think it matters at all. So give me the guy with the better skills, which is Ulanbekov. We're definitely in agreement there.
100%. All right, finally, we move on to the people's main event. We've got Hamdi Abdel Wahab taking on Muhammad Usman. We got Bad Usman versus Handy Anal Swab. My God, if a fight ever screamed fight ends in split decision, I took some and the number wasn't great. But both of Handy's fights have ended in split decision in the UFC. He's kind of got the perfect style for him because it's low volume, not great at controlling, and he's got the judges in his back pocket, Cody. How do I really think that? In a fair world, I would probably lean towards Muhammad Usman. But when we're in this part of the world, and that seems to be the only place that Hamdi really actually gets booked, I've struggled to back really anybody, especially when it's close, relatively, minus 160 plus 140, relatively close to a pick 'em. Hamdi would be the pick, but like I would rather get myself invested in overs here. I think the over 2.5 is a half decent like parlay piece. And yeah, I took some of that split decision prop when it came out. It's down to like plus 350 at Bet Online. I have no idea on the American legal market. I mean, I don't have access to any of those books, so I have no idea what it's opening at there. But closely competitive fight, a fight that that Handy is able to edge out with like control time, probably. But I'm not. Yeah, if it goes to judges like the scorecards, not going to be surprised either way how it plays out. I would just lean towards kind of the region that we're in, that Hamdi's going to get the rub again. Be hilarious to have 3 straight split decision victories to start a UFC career. Your thoughts on this one?
If Azerbaijanis are willing to rig one for an Egyptian guy, this is a world I don't want to live in. So I'm saying there's
Muslim
no
territory of the world, bro.
What?
It's all Muslim down these parts.
Yeah, Usman's Muslim too, so all good there, right? So what? He's American. He's a Muslim guy. And he's not really American. He's Nigerian as well. He's a world traveler. Just don't screw him. Here's what I'm saying. This one got called in as a favor just to personally get Cody Safdik. Because everybody knows that in 5 UFC fights, I've faded Muhammad Usman all 5 times. The first 3 times, it cost me a lot of money because he won his first 3 fights in the UFC. His last 2, I'm getting it back, baby. This guy is awful. Hamdi, meanwhile, I've never bet on Hamdi either. I'm 0 for 2. He's cost me money. He did get a no contest in his debut against Dante Mays, but in the moment, it was a win for him, and I lost my money. The no contest came months later after a positive test, and the bookie doesn't really care about that, which I don't blame them. It is what it is. His last time out against Pogues, that should have been my chance to get my money back, but nope, gets beat up. One judge has it 30-27, which is accurate. Worst case scenario, Pogues wins 29-28, right? Look at the numbers. Hamdi does not take him down in the first. He gets doubled up. Striking numbers. Second round, Hamdi does not take him down. He gets doubled up in the striking numbers. The third round, he does not get doubled up, but he does get outstruck. How do you justify giving him 2 of the 3 rounds, man? Absolutely killing me. But these are 2 guys that I both strongly dislike, not from a personal standpoint, from all around skill level. Would never bet money on them. Do not like either guy. Love fading either guy. Think very, very, very low of both men. And now they're fighting each other. So it's like, gotta pick one of them. The thing is, Usman, I'm starting to get my money back on him. Hamdi, I still need to get my money back on him. Therefore, I'm fading Hamdi's ass again. I am taking Muhammad Usman. I'll be real with you. Muhammad was not good, but he does have decent output for a heavyweight. He's okay mobility-wise. Played football a little bit, wrestled a little bit, decent enough athlete. Of course, he's Kamaru Usman's brother. Does not fight like Kamaru Usman, but they call him the motor because he's actually got some decent cardio for a big man. A lot of these fights, they are, like Paul mentioned, hit the over. He goes to decision. Now, him against Jake Collier, I try to fade him there. He does land 85 significant strikes. Him versus Mick Parkin. Mick Parkin's a volume heavyweight who's mobile. Mick Parkin outlands him. Him versus Thomas Pedersen. Thomas Pedersen is a mobile heavyweight with decent output. The other thing is Pedersen is a former junior college national champion in wrestling. He got 2 takedowns. He got a minute of control time out of it. 2 for 5. Usman's takedown defense is solid. Again, his brother's Kamaru. He spent a lot of time on the mats. He can stuff a takedown. The guys that have got him down is only Thomas Pedersen. And again, Paul would have to break down the exact like round by round on that. But Pedersen goes 0 for 1 in the first, 3 seconds. 1 for 2 in the second with 36 seconds. 1 for 2 in the third round for 22 seconds.
Pedersen mostly just boxed him up.
He mostly boxes him up. And this is the difference between Pedersen and Hamdi, is that Pedersen can wrestle and he'll try to take you down. And if it works, great. If not, he can box you up. He throws in combinations. He can fight for 15 minutes. Hamdi is 1 punch into the takedown. He's low volume. If he doesn't get the takedown, he starts to fall apart. And I'll admit, he looked a lot better, in my opinion, against Pogues than he had looked prior to the suspension. It did look like he's improving. It did look like he's making some improvements to his game. I think he's low volume. I think he's live or die by his mediocre wrestling. Because he'd been to the Olympics, it looks good. He represented a country with a very weak program. He was able to qualify by way of there was nobody else at heavyweight that was good on the team. I think he's fraudulent. I think he's absolutely fraudulent. On steroids, it probably helps, but he was on steroids to just beat Dante Mays on a really crappy fight. Really takes him down, holds him down, takes a suspension, does some grappling, comes back, and then delivers that type of performance against Jamal Pogues. Like, the guy's not good, man. He's not good at all. And Pogues is a light heavyweight that decided to slap on 50 pounds for whatever reason. Like, Muhammad Usman's an actual heavyweight. If he doesn't get the takedowns, it's going to be striker. It's going to be low output, greasy, robotic, stiff striking, where Usman lands a few more, keeps it close and wins, man. Honestly, it's just dog or pass for me. This is a middling heavyweight fight with probably ends up being close. You fully admitted you think it goes the overs. You think it goes to decision. I agree. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be potentially contentious, but Usman gets the win. And there's more people down there that say, oh, I've heard of Kamaru. This is his untalented brother. Throw him a bone. Than people that say, oh, dude, Hamdi's from Egypt. Holy shit. I'm Azerbaijani. Let's rub one out for the Egyptian guy. Nah, man, I don't think they would do that. I hope they don't do that, Paul. But when you rank 152nd out of 180 countries for corruption, expect the unexpected. And I'm kind of expecting this card to divulge into straight madness. So I'm just trying to be aware for it. If you're listening to the show and you're thinking, man, they don't really seem like there's a lot of conviction on either side.
There isn't.
There's not. The favorites are way too big. Everyone on this card is either chinny or has gas issues or has like a big noticeable red flag hanging, issues to their game hanging right over their head. I would say that the reads are going to be hard to come by. But all the same, don't worry about the mule. Load the wagon, and I'm going full force with my PRP this week. So I just got to hope that I hit the right bounces.
Can I just say one thing?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we're in like downtown Toronto or something, and I'm trying to tell you to like lock your car because I didn't hear like the beep, like, with the little thing, because you're about to get robbed, and I'm trying to tell you like, stay away from like, don't bet aside in the Hamdi fight. I'm not betting Hamdi at minus money. Are you kidding me? My pick was actually like Usman, but I am staying away until I see this guy lose a decision in this part of the world. I ain't getting involved in anything like that. That's why I said the overs they've been getting steamed a little bit. I was hopping in at them. I've been at it as like my only play from that earlier in the week. It was like minus 190 plus 210. So moving in that direction. Then it's heavyweight. So eventually, meat is completely off of the bone. But be careful. Don't get robbed. I don't want to see my friend get robbed. And then don't come crying to me if you bet Muhammad Usman and he gets robbed and you're like, I can't believe that they robbed him. It's just like you knew that they may. Paul sat here and told you they may rob you blind.
What I will
lock your car, Cody, and throw away the keys.
I won't say I can't believe they robbed him. What I will say is I can't believe I bet Muhammad Usman because that's something I've never done in 5 fights. I faded him against Brandon Sales in the PFL. He was a 4-1 a favorite, and he lost to Sales. I don't think he's good, but it shows you how little I believe in Hamdi.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of favorites, and this card is not going to be all favorites. So I needed a little more dog money, and Usman ended up being that guy. His brother won for dog money last week. Let's keep the good times rolling, Muhammad. Let's go. Also, are they worried about Muslim? The other guy's Muslim. Hamdi's Muslim. Muhammad Usman, most popular name in the world, Muhammad, and he's also Muslim. I would hate to think that like politics and religion, all that play anything in the judges' scorecard. Because sport,
this part of the world,
down. Yeah, but this part of the world it does, dude. Like I deep dove it. I was like, well, what do you mean? They're like, well, this coach got suspended for match fixing in soccer, and this guy it's just. Azerbaijan also sells athletes to other countries for the Olympics. So you'll see Canada does it. We're guilty. you'll see a lot of Azerbaijani guys win Olympic medals representing other countries. Like it'll be some Azerbaijani guy living in similar how you'll see a Muhammad Makayev representing the UK or a Hamzat Chimaev representing Sweden. A lot of time you just go to the other places. But Azerbaijani will sell those athletes to those countries and be like, you guys want to up your Olympic numbers so you get more government funding for sport? Sure. How many golds do you need? Okay, well, we got a guy here that'll win one in boxing, and we got a guy here that will win one in wrestling. It's a good. They're a tough country. They're athletic. They know how to win. They know how to get the job done. They also know how to rig things a little bit. So yeah, what Paul's saying is not complete nonsense. I just got to hope the PRP lands on the right side of the James Krausen.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the PRP.
I'm going to go Jamahal Hill, dog number 1. Going to go with, Ignacio Bahamondes. But I could see that one for the reasons we literally just discussed not going great. But I'm going to take Ignacio Bahamondes. Curtis Blaydes, Orolbai, fading a second Azerbaijani might not be great. I will take Sadykhov. Don't love the line, but I got him. Bogdan Grad. He's going to be my dog number 2. Oban Elliott, JunYong Park, which I don't love, but I got Park, Melissa Mullins, Irina Alexeva, Tagir Ulanbekov, Muhammad Usman, officially dog number 3. One thing that neither of us mentioned that I should just throw up real quick there is like Tagir Ulanbekov was getting ready to fight Kyoji Horiguchi. Whoa, talk about a good fight. Talk about fighting one of the best guys in the world. And then from that, Azat Maxim, who we talked about in deficiency in his grappling and not the same level of experience and getting taken out by Charles Johnson, he's a short nose replacement for Kyoji Horiguchi. So if you go from fighting Kyoji to fighting Azat, it should be like leaps and bounds easier. I do believe that Ulanbekov should be able to cash out in this spot. But flyweights, always tons of things happening. He's the right side. So 3 dogs officially on 12 picks. Do want to wait for weigh-ins. Want to see if Mullins makes weight or not. Want to see if, who's looking good. As Paul mentioned, check out the stare downs. Check out the face-offs. Who's got that perceived size advantage? Is Hamdi on steroids? In North America, hard to do. But in Azerbaijan, are they letting them bring a bag through the back door? I don't know. The Waynes will allow us to know a little bit more, Paul Shaughnessy. So, yeah, until then, man.
Until then, that is it for us this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. For Cody, I'm Paul. Saying goodbye. Good luck.